Hello. Let's pay attention and inside and enjoy the next hour if we can. We totally can. I'm certain of that. The attitude this time is peaceful. Lately we started humble and honest. It's always wise. But peaceful is the way to go today. Just peaceful. If anything is happening in our personal life, our mind will go through it. Try to bring it back to this class today. Yesterday evening, I had very merry time, fun time with a bunch of people online. So up until a few minutes ago, I was still thinking about that moment. Game of Dungeons and Dragons. It felt good to play online with friends. And instead of thinking of this class, my mind kept going back to the characters and what happened. Because it was exciting. That means that if anything negative would happen, my mind would like to dwell on it too. It shows me where I am with my dealings with drama. I thought I would share it because it's useful information for everyone. The word diagnostic is not exclusive to doctors. Anyone does a diagnostic of themselves when they evolve, they do personal growth. The same way a car mechanics will do a diagnostic of the car. It is to evaluate and understand the current situation. So it's wise to look at how you are even in your happy moments. Just to know how you are. And don't judge. It is completely acceptable to be excited about something new in your life and that your mind will go back to it. An interesting game yesterday, or if you meet a new lover, your mind will keep going there. It's not just with the positive, it is also with the suffering. Okay. Drama does that. That's how the mind works. Okay. It's fun to think about the good things. Why would we stop? But understand this is also a part of drama. It's not bad. It's just drama. Pay attention to yourself and observe that mechanics in your own life. It's not wrong. It's just how we are. And it is acceptable. Grow from simply understanding that's how we are. That's how it works inside. Good. So now you have just grown a bit. New tool. Pay attention inside. Know that there is drama in many forms. We take care of it when they are heavy. We're not tempted to take care of it when it is subtle. If you decide to do personal growth on every little wave of drama, so subtle, you'll spend your life looking at problems. You'll spend your life looking at yourself with this possibly negative way. So much to resolve. You have to relax a bit with that. Okay. So it's normal to not take care of every moment of despair, of excitement, when it's just a whiff. I understand. But if you find one that is recurring, even small, but coming back again and again, maybe then you might want to resolve that small one, because it's a long-term thing. Just a question of perspective. Okay. This being said, I'll use one personality trait I have as an example for the next step of this class. You'll have to find your own. I've practiced incarnation a lot. The condition of fibromyalgia is sometimes to have muscles pop, like anyone, okay? It happens to anyone at one point. With fibromyalgia, it's 10 times more than the average person, maybe. And I've practiced incarnation and feeling in my body. So when I have a very subtle regret inside, I would sometimes have a physical reaction. Something like that. Okay. So I was in bed yesterday night. I don't even remember which regret, but I thought about a foolish thing I've done in my 20s. What was it? I even forgot which. Doesn't matter for this class. It would be fun to remember. Anyway. And I was like, oh, whatever. It was a bit too physical reaction. Just because this wave in my subconscious chastised me, punished me. A way of looking on myself. I've done some stupid shit. Some of you have known me in the years of terrible dharma. Most of it I don't regret. It was a time where I would push people in their own judgments. And some of my students felt bad because of my behavior. They have grown. Oh yeah, they have grown. One example. I went to the restaurant with 2 alcoholic people. So I got severely drunk and started shouting in the restaurant in front of everyone. The restaurant was full, like 80 people or something. They felt so bad. I was imitating them. I was showing them how they are because they're that kind of drunk. The next day, I asked them, I made a fool of myself. Who's ashamed? Is it me who's ashamed or it's you? And they were broken. And they were integrating. So my trick worked. With them, I'm good. I still have this shame inside towards the restaurant owners. They felt bad. I didn't shout long, but I left when I saw it was time, of course. I used Alchemy to remove the alcohol from my body in a few minutes. And I kept being a teacher of terrible Dharma. But today, it's not what happened yesterday evening. I just forgot which situation was. But I know in the past year, I had moments of regret. I know I was doing this for my students to grow. They have grown. They've been grateful once the integration was done. They've been grateful to me for doing such a thing. So they had no choice than to face themselves in their alcoholism, and they're not alcoholic anymore. They literally can drink and not be addicted. So that part worked. But I have affected innocent people. I have troubled innocent people who were not concerned by that karma. And I still have guilt. And sometimes, life as it is, I have a strong physical reaction. So that's using me as a person to speak of a character trait. Okay. The Brahmanical people who guided me through terrible dharma in my youth. I believe they never had any regret of the terrible treatment that they were giving to their students. Regretting the past is not just an emotion to resolve. It's a character trait. It is a behavior, like a habit. You can integrate something and resolve the emotion, but still be programmed at looking at yourself judgmentally, looking at yourself negatively. And if you do that, if you are pessimistic about yourself in some areas, not everywhere, if you are condescending with yourself, a perfectionist would do that. You would look at everything not perfect you've done in the past, and you would still judge yourself. Even after successful integrations, you would renew the judgment as a reflex. That is my character trait. So it's mild, but it's there. So it's important to not only resolve the regret of the past, it's also important to decide, I'm going to accept what I judge as a mistake. I'm going to accept the actions I took. This is not integration. This is reprogramming yourself. As a person, I have to decide to accept me. The learning process requires successes and failures. I must accept my failures as a part of growing. I have to stop judging. Always reenacting the judgment. I have to stop that. So it's not just emotional integration. It's to decide to change a personality trait. Until I can integrate fully, I was just a monkey in the jungle, throwing shit at others like anyone else would as a monkey in the jungle. I was just trying stuff. I was just trying stuff. Doing my best as always. You do have to do your emotional integration. But if that integration is recurring, there's a possibility that you simply refresh the judgment by looking at your past. It was not good enough because you're a perfectionist. Of course. It actually happens between the medulla oblongata, the occipital bone, the jade gate, if you want, in terms of chakras, but also in biology in the brain, and the host gate in the back, between the shoulder blades, somewhere in the nervous system, basically, around the throat chakra, which is where we build our understanding ourselves, but also our knowledge about self, personal growth, and our beliefs about ourselves. Therefore, our judgments too. And it is a center where we cultivate forgiveness. It is there in your body and on other planes, that you have to decide to reprogram yourself. It doesn't really matter if you know where it happens in the system. That was just extra knowledge about the situation. What matters is that decision. It's about time I stop regretting what I cannot change. I have to decide to grow and not to be stuck in the past. Use the past to do a proper integration and to say, I learned from it. But that person who did that mistake, that did the imperfection, I have to stop believing I am that person. I have to stop regretting by reflex, because that's a personality trait. It's just a habit. Some have a habit to be a bully. Shit happen, if they care, I'm gonna break their face. Some have a habit of denial. Just don't think about it. But, repress as much as you can. It's a habit. Now that you've learned about the habit of regret, you still see something as perfect or imperfect in terms of behavior. You still believe today you are a bad person. So you would go in the past and rejudge stuff you've already integrated. Just negative as a reflex. You will find other behavioral reflex like that. Reflex of denial. Reflex of anger. Some have the reflex of violence. Part of it is a personal growth of resolving the potentials that are there. And some of it is behavioral. It's just a way you are. For me, it's regret. In my case, it's not because I'm a perfectionist. No. That's just an example I took because it is common to help you maybe recognize yourself. For me, is the profound need of acceptance. Being rejected from groups and friends until I was an adult. So basically my childhood and my teenagers. I was rejected because I was fucking annoying, filled with my power and my pride, not wise enough to be humble and compassionate. Well, I was annoying. And I was seeking attention, of course. Like any teen, but with power. But that loneliness made me realize I did things so that others would not want to hang out with me. So I still look back today, it's still there somewhere. And I did it yesterday evening. I forgot about what, but I did it. And I said, that's a great class to teach. It's not just resolving the past issues, the moments themselves, but understanding that my reflex is motivated. I still hope to be loved. It is still there inside the outside validation at this level, in this mean. Because it keeps me coming back to what I declare I was annoying. I made myself be rejected by others. I did that. It's a very responsible thing to know that I'm the one who caused the world to reject me. Sometimes. Other times the world is just like that, a jungle. People reject others, it happens. But for when I was the one instigating the rejection, when I was behaving like an asshole, I keep going back to my memories. And it physicalizes. Fibromyalgia amplifies that. My practice of incarnation encourages that. Physicalizing of my shortcomings. Well, what I still judge. I was just a monkey in the jungle throwing shit because I was learning. So you see, today's class is a class of forgiveness. It's a class of forgiveness is not just to do a proper integration. And there is mourning involved. I have to mourn something. But in forgiving ourselves, we have to decide to stop judging ourselves for our past mistakes. It's not mistakes, it's learning experiences. But we see them as mistakes. We refresh the regret of specific behaviors, not because of the suffering they caused in the past, but because of this potential still there today. In my case, hoping for validation. And I became a good master, a good teacher of spirituality out of compassion for others, but also hoping that my students would find me cool. I'm aware of that motivation, so I keep it in check. My focus is the growth of my students. But it's there. I know it's there because I rejudge again past stuff that was resolved. Because I know it made me be rejected. That's diagnostic. That's a way to diagnose yourself. Okay? I've used me as an example. Of course, it's probably less dramatic than many, but I have it. I do that because I still have the need of being accepted by others. Like, we would say everyone has that, but for me, at where I am in my evolution, even if it is subtle, I consider it to be a pathology, something to resolve, to continue working on. You know? Anyone who knows me personally, you know that I do enjoy positive attention. It is my training that prevents me from abusing from it. But that trait is still there. And I have to be honest with myself, or else it will carry me into abuse or mistakes. Anything we call a past mistake is a judgment. Mistakes don't exist except through judgment. What is to resolve is not only the potential of that past event, but our way of seeing ourselves. In specific places, I still look at myself judgmentally. That is not a problem of the past. It's a problem of now. We still carry inside reflexes, behavioral reflexes that keeps us in the past, keeps us dwelling on the past. We have to take a firm decision. I will stop being negative about myself. I have to stop constantly judging the past. But for that decision to take place, I have to find what emotion inside me supports the pattern of keeping me in a judgmental way towards myself. I told you, for me, it was not perfectionism. It is fear of rejection. When I get attention, it's not a power trip. They think I'm powerful. No. That means they're currently not rejecting me. My fear of rejection, for me, is what likes the attention, the positive attention from others. For someone else, it would be the need of greatness, pride. For others, it would be belonging to a clan, security. If they like me, I feel safe. For me, it's fear of rejection. All of this could be compatible, by the way. Could be all of them. Okay. So, find through your feelings, not through interpretation in your head. Well, the intellectual support always helps. But how does it feel? What is your go-to pattern that will reawaken past judgments that could have been resolved? It's just a useful trick today. I'm not constantly going to give emotional integration classes with mind-breaking finale like the past few classes. Yeah, this one is about little steps. What is the next thing I can change in my view of myself? What is the next thing I can change about me? Just so I can feel better in daily life. And changing the reflex judgment is very wise. It's part of the domain of forgiveness. And it's more than integration and mourning, it's a decision. I decide to see myself positively, but in a wise way. If you say, I need to see myself positive, you'll look back at what you judge as negative, start over. So wanting to see yourself positively is not compatible with what you judge as negative. Okay? You have to see yourself positively in terms of evolution. It is what I classify a mistake. And we grow from that. Trust evolution. I have to accept my past. I'm saying I, but it's for everyone, by the way. It's just to apply it to me also while I teach. Looking at the past and trust evolution. Accept this is how it happens. It is acceptable. I'm not a bad person. I am growing. I'm learning. I'm not worse than anyone. Everyone goes through that. So I forgive myself. I cannot change the past. But I can change how I perceive it. I cannot undo my past experiences, my choices, my words or my actions. I cannot change my past. But I can change how I see it. I have to trust that I believe. I have to trust in evolution. I have to believe that I can grow from everything. I want to stop refreshing my regrets. Oh, there might be more to integrate. If the emotion rises, then you still have emotional integration to do about your arrogance of the past. So you'll do it. In this class, we learn to change how we see the past. It's part of evolution. That is the hardest thing to change in our mind. I was not wrong. I was naive. I was not wrong. I was an animal. I was not wrong. I was preparing me so that today I can learn and grow. I can still feel the loneliness I had in my childhood, that I still have to integrate, to sit in this abandonment, hiding in the corners of my body. I can still feel the emotional part to resolve, so that my pattern will accept to let go, so I can change this view. But I can also see positively that I am building more trust in myself, more confidence that I was not wrong. I was a child. I was uneducated in a poor environment. Well, everyone is either afraid of not having enough or ready to fight to have more. No, people in poverty. It happens. It's part of evolution. Poverty is the base natural state of any monkey. Wealth is an exceptional illusion in a civilized human world. Poverty is not even real. It's what nature does. We fight in the jungle for resources. That poverty is not real. It's overabundance that is an illusion. And I am so grateful that I have it today. Oh yeah, overabundance compared to poverty. I mean, yeah, I eat too much every day. Well, no, not lately, but sometimes I did. I can get drunk if I want. You know, it's great, but poverty is just a jungle. This is the world. This is nature. So I have to accept that. Just be grateful that I can work and earn more money when I need to. And, you know, it's life. It's life. Spent most of my life in poverty. Only in the last 6-7 years that I've not been under poverty, under the definition of my government about salary and revenue. Yeah, I've been considered legally poor up to just a few years ago. Because when I had money, I just throw it into the Maria. Come on, this needs to grow. I'm pretty happy with my choices. I'm satisfied with this devotion. But I will still have a physical shock. Literally like that. Crunching a fist and going. When in my subconscious awakens, I was a teen and I said that. And then the girl never spoke to me again. Ah, fucking idiot. And then bam, hating myself for causing me to be rejected. And it's like, all right, I'm doing this shit again. Okay. Integrate the emotion. On the past situation, forgiveness is about mourning, but also trusting evolution. I have to believe that I can grow from that. I have to accept this is how it is meant to be, learning from experience. So it was not wrong. It was naive. It was unexperienced. How do we say inexperienced in English? Forgot. Okay, I hope that was enough examples. So when you see a recurring behavioral judgment, go into a humble and honest state. You know, some of it might be the emotion about the event, but most of your integration will be about what is the potential that supports me rejudging the past. Any good New Ager, which I am one of, any good New Ager would just say, don't be stuck in the past. That's it. Like if it was enough to just say it, no point getting stuck in the past. It doesn't release you from the past by just thinking it. What is that emotion, that potential? that is now part of your behavior as a person. It's not an event, but a life-defining condition, a trauma, or a way you were raised that has made your personality, your behavior, to be stuck in the learning process, to be stuck in the past. There will be emotional integration, and there will be affirmations, positive affirmation. This was not wrong. It was learning process. This is how evolution works. I will do my best. Sometimes I did not do my best, but now I will. And I was not wrong for that. I was learning. Reprogram yourself. So do a proper integration, but reprogram yourself. I trust evolution. My past experience, I will not again call past mistakes. I have to call them past lessons. So if in your head you say lesson, but in your feelings you still stay mistakes. Like, oh, it was a growing lesson, but inside is fucking asshole I was. Be honest with yourself. I still regret it. Keep working on that. And change that pattern in your brain, in your animal, in the subconscious part. Well, subconscious is everywhere, but in this part you have the going back to the past and judging yourself. I'm a new person. I change and I evolve, so I'm new, like anyone else who evolves. And I decide that I won't appreciate what brought me suffering, but I decide that I appreciate the growth. And if nature is like that, I will accept that nature is like that. I can grow from that. I can learn from that. Trust evolution. I've had enough of just chastising stuff that I can't change. It happened. It's over. What I can change is my vision of evolution. This will make you look at others with compassion. If you see yourself always angry for your mistakes, because you call them mistakes, through your feelings, if you look like you were wrong or bad, you'll project it to others. You'll try to be compassionate, and you will still look at others as assholes in your subconscious, because that's how you look at yourself. So now that lesson even implies compassion more than forgiveness. To be able to look at others as evolving people instead of idiots. You have to be able to do this with you. And that requires will, determination. This is what I am now. Especially if your subconscious doesn't believe it. You have to say it. I trust that I have always been someone evolving. Enough with the negativity. Enough with the self-hatred. I want to see myself in a constructive way. That is my decision. And you'll take your mala. I trust evolution. I accept my past. I trust evolution. I accept my past. And you just build a phrase on that class that suits your desired change. And do a mala of that before you go to bed. And your night will be terrible, and your subconscious will aggress you with everything that doesn't believe it. And thanks to that, it will come out. And you can work on it. And the next evening, you just take your mala and you do another mala of those positive, accepting phrases. You are a wonderful person. You're beautiful. You don't need to be stuck in self-hatred. Take that decision. If it's not to love yourself, to accept the process that you are going through. It's evolution. Change your view of yourself like that. And you will do a further step in your Rishinaya, in your cultivation of forgiveness and compassion. All right. I hope you enjoyed the class. All right. Be positive.